What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal SpazPhoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is not road signs, this is something else. I'm gonna talk a little bit of TNA with you guys, which I don't do very often, but you guys know I'm a fan, following Jeff Hardy, etc, etc, etc. And I'm not even really talking about TNA, I'm talking about TNA in relation to WWE. One of the biggest announcements over the past week or so has been the fact that Impact is finally getting out of the Impact Zone, and they're going, you know, town to town, city to city. They're starting in Chicago, I think the second weekend in March, or something like that. Great move for them. I mean, first of all, supposedly the tickets to Impact in the Impact Zone were free half the time, so, I mean, how much did the fans really care, and this and that and the next thing, and you got the same crowd all the time, potentially. And the few times they did get out of the Impact Zone, you get a more raucous crowd because they don't get the same people in and out all the time. Just take a look at what they're doing right now over in the UK. I think they're in Manchester, and then they're going to be in London for the next 2 weeks or something like that. So all in all, I mean, you know, being in the same scenery all the time gets stale. It gets stale for the fans, it gets stale for the superstars being in the same place all the time, and it gets stale literally being in the same scenery all the time. I mean, it's not such a big deal for us just watching it on TV, but there's little nuances to being in a different place, a different arena, even though, yeah, you watch Monday Night Raw, the stage is the same, the ring is the same, the Titantron is the same, but there's enough difference that you know you're in a different arena, you know by the sound of the crowd that you're in a different city, you know, Chicago sounds different from New York, sounds different from us up here in Toronto. They need that variety. It's time to grow. There was a big Twitter thing that went out from Hulk Hogan to Dixie challenging her to make their company better. And as a fan of TNA, obviously it's another big step for them. You guys know I did a video not too long ago about their new pay-per-view plan, which I'm still not sure about, and on a personal level, not really a fan of at all. But taking Impact out of the Impact Zone, taking it on the road, is a step in the right direction. It spreads them around, and it gets them a lot more exposure, which will be fantastic, and hopefully they can take that and grow it, etc. Now, of course you knew WWE was going to respond to this. Now, picture any two competing companies, like a pair of boxers in a boxing ring, for example. Now, if you're a pro boxer, you've been like the biggest name in boxing for 10 years now, and this young upstart guy who's never had a title shot before in his life comes up, and you see him and you start scouting him, whatever, and you realize that this guy could potentially beat you. Now, you could do one of two things. You could train your ass off, you could train your ass harder, faster, stronger than you've ever done before, get yourself in the best shape of your life and put on a hell of a good fight. Or you could hire a hitman the night before, break the guy's legs, and never have to have the fight, and that's what WWE is doing right now. Now, I told you guys, especially in WrestleMania season, I lend a lot more credence to Rumor Mill and, you know, WrestleZone and No DQ and Bleacher Report and all that sort of thing. So, I'm not going to state for 100% certain that the things that I have read are 100% true, but I'm only reacting to what I'm reading. Now, with that disclaimer, I think I'm being pretty fair. If somebody pops up later on with something that says, oh, well, this wasn't this, this is really this. I'm saying right now that I'm reacting to what I have read, and I'm reacting to what I've read in multiple locations. So, if it's not true, I'm apologizing in advance. If it's a little less than accurate, I'm apologizing in advance, but I'm just giving you my thoughts off the top of my head. You guys can tell I'm rambling. You guys know that I haven't taken any notes. Here's the Do Me clipboard, getting ready for whatever I talk about next on Road Signs, which will probably be the Elimination Chamber, which I have some interesting thoughts about. But, so, now WWE has reacted the following. Are they going to step up their production? No. Are they going to step up the talent, the writing, the storylines, the booking, the new talent, the returning talent? Are they going to gear us up towards WrestleMania any more than they already have? No. They have a couple different steps that they are going to put into play here. They are going to try and go around to all of the, what do you want to say, the smaller venues, because WWE and TNA are not going to happen in the same types of venues. They're going to be going to, TNA are going to be going to the types of venues that are about the same size as, sorry, totally drew a blank. They're going to go to arena, or small venues that are about the same size as the Impact Zone, let's be honest. I mean, WWE, for example, If they come to Toronto, and this is my point of reference because it's the only place I've ever seen a show, they go to the Rogers Centre or the Air Canada Centre. But if they're doing a house show like they're doing in a couple of weeks, they go to the Ricoh Coliseum, which is a heck of a lot smaller. And those are the types of places that TNA will probably be going at first. Now, WWE is going around to a lot of small venues that they would never in a million years think about putting on a show in and getting them to sign exclusivity contracts so that TNA may not perform in them legally. So, even if they happen to be performing in the same city at the same time, WWE can't be in every small arena at once. So they basically want to cut any stage TNA has. Now people are going to come and say, well, you know, that's good business, that's how the cookie crumbles. You can do good business and you can do good competitive business without being an asshole. And that's really what I'm reacting to. Yes, everything I'm going to say in this video, it is. It's good for business, it's good for, it's a good way to keep on your edge and dominate the monopoly you have on the genre, which is exactly what WWE is doing. I can't fault them from a business perspective. I can fault them on a, okay, you're just being a dick perspective. So they're going to buy up or, you know, keep the exclusivity of any venue that TNA might try to compete in. Second part of that plan, where they cannot acquire exclusivity contracts with those smaller venues in those cities that TNA might be wanting to perform in, they are going to mimic TNA's house show schedule so that there's a WWE program going on the same night. The idea being you got two companies and they think most of the people, if they have a choice, are going to go to the bigger company and they're going to draw all the they're basically going to sponge all the audience away from anybody that may attend that TNA house show or that TNA Impact taping. And not only that, they're going to screw TNA with the potential, and this is the one that I have a hard time believing. They're going to change, they're considering changing SmackDown, which we've been asking for years, to a live Thursday night show to completely wipe Impact off the map. Now that's, I mean, granted, it's awesome because, you know, SmackDown being on another day other than Friday will be great, and it makes sense to do it. They're not doing it because it makes sense to do it. They're not even doing it because we want them to do it. They're doing it because that's when Impact is on. They're doing it because that's the city that Impact is going to be in. All they're doing, if they go through with what I've read, is leeching onto TNA's schedule to take the fans away from them, which is a bullshit move. And on a personal perspective, this isn't one that affects us as fans so much as the superstars themselves. And I can't say that I speak for the superstars. I can't say, oh my God, look at how these guys are being mistreated and whatever. On the dates that WWE does manage to schedule an event in the same city as a TNA event, they are overloading the itineraries of the superstars participating in that show, so that for the prime purpose that they will not socialize with any of their counterparts in TNA. Now, let's think about how many people grew up in the indies together, everybody, there's a big ROH insurgents, you know, Austin Aries and Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, for example. That's only the first example I can pull off the top of my head. Now, these fellas are on two different shows in two different companies that are usually 9 times out of 10 in two different parts of the country. How often are they even within shouting distance of each other? And you're going to keep a couple of friends from going out and having a beer and saying hello because it's bad for business, and somebody might snap a picture and TNA might get some incidental exposure out of the deal. And they're overloading their itineraries, their schedules, whatever. So not only are they pissed off because they can't socialize with the people they want to socialize with, if their itinerary and their schedule is overloaded, they're going to be blown out by the time the show comes on. That provides, you know, health risks, safety risks, and just general bad workplace environment as a whole. So they're doing a whole lot to make sure that TNA is licking the crumbs off the floor of anything that they may be legitimately earning, and that is bullshit. And here is the point. Here is the kicker. They don't want TNA getting any exposure whatsoever. They don't want TNA having a foot in the door in any city that they may want to perform in. They don't want one of their superstars within 10 yards of any TNA superstar because they might get some incidental, recognition, rub-off, whatever. But, what did WWE.com just do? And I'm a fan of this guy. You guys know this. You guys know I'm probably Jeff Hardy fan number one. They added Jeff Hardy to the alumni page on WWE.com, which serves two purposes for WWE, if you figure it. I mean, there's a lot of talk where, there's a lot of talk among fans with the belief that once you are added to the alumni page, it means you're going to do a guest spot on Raw at some point. I can't think of who. Like, if Roddy Piper is the featured alumni guy that day, he might be showing up on Raw sometime in the next 2 weeks. Or if Ric Flair or, Animal was added to the alumni page or re-added to the alumni page before he made his comeback leading up to Raw 1000. So did a lot of other, like DDP and Doink and all that. Their alumni pages were featured on the main page of WWE.com shortly before or shortly after they appeared on Raw or SmackDown. So now, they're going to put Jeff Hardy on the alumni page to get people stirring, to get more people talking, to give them the illusion that Jeff Hardy might show up on a WWE television program, which isn't going to happen because he's just signed a new 3-year deal with TNA. And because they know people love Jeff Hardy so much and they know that it's going to bring traffic to the website. So what are they doing? Although they don't want even the slightest association with TNA that might help out TNA, they are putting TNA's champion on their website to draw web traffic. And that is the most blatant hypocrisy I have ever seen in my life. Guys, I'm hoping the guys out there that have been watching me for a long time know me. I've been giving WWE a lot of slack recently. I've been giving WWE a hell of a lot more credit than most people have in the past 6 months. But I'm sorry, when it comes to crap like this, when you're just going out there to be assholes, it may be good for business. It doesn't make you good people. And as far as I'm concerned, one consumer of your product to the people providing me the product, go fuck yourselves. Anyways, guys, that's it. That's my 2 cents. If you guys have anything to say, throw it in the box below. I should have road signs up again sometime this weekend or after Raw next week. You guys know the drill. It's becoming pretty regular that I put them out on like Tuesday or Wednesday nowadays. I don't know if that's going to stay the case. I might put out one this weekend. I might not. That's about it. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep these conversations going. Let me know what you think about these potential stirrings that WWE has to, fuck over the little guy. Yeah, forgot the end of my tagline. Oh yeah, don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
Like me.